Καλησπέρα σας. Σάββατο σήμερα, αν θέλετε το πρώτο του χειμώνα σε ό,τι αφορά τουλάχιστον το Ψηλά τα Χέρια, και θα μας βλέπετε όπως κάθε Σάββατο από τούτο εδώ το Σάββατο για όλο το χειμώνα και μέχρι το Μάρτι, αμέσως μετά το δελτίο ειδήσεων των 6. Καθώς λοιπόν εμείς στην Αθήνα αύριο θα δίνουμε την μικρή δική μας μάχη για την Δημαρχία της Αθήνας, εμείς εξασκώντας το καθήκον και δικαίωμά μας του ψηφοφόρου και οι υποψήφοι διεκδικώντας ο καθένας στη Δημαρχία. Εμείς λοιπόν απόψε εδώ σε μια διάθεση μιας ήρεμης και αν θέλετε διεθνούς ατμόσφαιρας, άλλωστε η Αθήνα είναι μια διεθνής πρωτεύουσα και δεν περίμενε μόνο τους Ολυμπιακούς Αγώνες για να θεωρηθεί διεθνής, φιλοξενούμε σήμερα μια μεγάλη στάρ. Από αυτές που δεν έχουμε συνηθίσει τουλάχιστον τα τελευταία χρόνια να βλέπουμε στην ελληνική τηλεόραση. Πέρα από μια μεγάλη στάρ, πρόκειται για μια πραγματικά ζεστή κοπέλα με αρκετό μεσογειακό ταμπεραμέντο, όπως θα δείτε κι εσείς, που βεβαίως έχει ζήσει και έχει δουλέψει απ' άκρο σ' άκρο αυτής της γης, αλλά παρόλα τα αυτά είναι εδώ μαζί μας στο Mega Channel. Δεν χρειάζεται ίσως τίποτε περισσότερο από το να την δείτε για να θυμηθείτε να θυμηθείτε Lancome, μια και είναι το αποκλειστικό φωτομοντέλο της εταιρείας αυτής εδώ και αρκετά χρόνια, και βεβαίως θα μιλήσουμε για πολλούς θησαυρούς όπως και το τρεζόρ, το άρωμα το καινούριο που θα λανσάρει η ίδια με το όνομά της. Κυρίες και κύριοι, εδώ στο Mega Channel, στο Ψηλά τα Χέρια, υποδεχτείτε μαζί μου, και σας διευκρινίζω ότι η συνέντευξη υποχρεωτικώς θα γίνει στα αγγλικά, αυτό ίσως λίγο να σας κουράσει, την Ιζαμπέλα Ροσελίνι. Ιζαμπέλα, you're most welcome. We cordially accept you here. We're very happy to have you with us. And I hope you have a nice but very small stay in Athens.
Well, I have a very short stay, but up to now I loved it.
You loved it?
Yes.
What did you have time to see? You're just less than half a day here.
Yes, but I went to see the museum yesterday. I had 2 hours, and I was waiting.
You were in the Cycladic Art Museum?
Yes, I did, and I really enjoyed seeing that because I knew of the museum reputation and I wanted so much to see it. So the first half hour that I had, I ran there and saw it, and I was very pleased.
I think it's something that's really extravagant for a star to come here only for 2 days and run to a museum as soon as you arrive. You like museums and you like art in general, I think.
I do. I don't stay there long. I think when I was a child and I was taken to museums, I always got very bored, and I think I got bored because the visits were too long. You get tired on your legs. But if you go fast...
I have exactly the same opinion on museums.
You have to go fast, and it hits you, and you go out and you have this wonderful emotion, but you don't have to spend so much time.
And you get some bits and some ideas, and you feel nice, and that's
Yes.
it. If you want to see something, you come back again.
And you come back again, and actually the second time you might go back, there are 2 or 3 things that you would want to go see again, and then spend more time observing them. There is always, I don't know, I always feel that it's the first impression, the thing take you. So I run through a museum, and if there is a statue or a painting that wants my attention, they would call my attention. I don't have to go in front of each one and stand there to see if I get an emotion or not.
Yes, and you don't have to convince somebody that you like something in museums. You're going to stay here for 2 days.
Yes.
Could you please tell us a little bit about the occasion on which you come here?
Well, I came as a guest. Actually, this is my first trip of a long tour that I'm going to do. I have worked for Lancome for several years, and this is the first time that we're going to launch a big perfume, and it's a very big thing for the cosmetic industry. And it was fascinating work for me. See, I come from a very artistic background, and I've never worked with the industry or what I thought it was only commerce. And it has been a fantastic... First of all, I found out that businessmen, as artists, do things based on intuition and not marketing research, even if they do a lot of marketing research.
Yes, but that's something truly very interesting to be listened out of your own mouth, because yes. You've worked in the cinema, you've worked as a model, you've worked even as a journalist, but we'll talk for that as the program goes on. But it's very interesting you say that they need intuition.
They need intuition, Absolutely, and I was very surprised to find that out. Actually, when I first started to work with the cosmetic industry, I thought, well, that is going to be interesting in my life because it would give me order and it would give me science. These cells, you do that. You know, your taste is what the taste of the masses and you shape it that way. And I said, well, maybe that will help me. Maybe I'm too bourgeois or too elite. It doesn't work that way. It's all based on intuition and emotions, and more so a perfume because it's such an abstract art. And the people that I work with the perfume are the most extravagant. The people that create the perfume, they are like a bohemian artist of the beginning of the century in Paris. They are these strange types. So I just completely adored working with them. And I will start being invited in all different countries because the product that we do are distributed in 150 countries.
Are you going to go to all 150 of them?
Most of them I will. My first one is Greece. So that was
we should come first, and not only the flag in the Olympic Games.
Absolutely.
But I think this is going to bring you good luck, and this country always brings good luck to artists and people that really and truly love the country. So you begin here because it's the convention also of the...
Yes, all the big distributor of cosmetic and perfumes have every year a big convention, and this year they have it in Greece. They have it in different countries, and here they have it in Greece. And so I came to meet them, to tell them that we have a new product, and then I'm going to have a private party with friends from Greece.
Let me ask you something. When you're involved in a whole adventure, like a new perfume is, because you said very truly and right, I think, that making a perfume is an art.
Yes.
Did you have any opinion on that?
Yes.
I mean, personal opinion, like how you feel with wearing this perfume.
It was very important. From the beginning, I always felt, and more so the more I worked with Lancôme, I'd be very candid. I mean, the first time I was hired by Lancôme, I was very happy to have a contract that paid a lot of money for a very big company. And I knew the company because I knew the reputation of the company. But the more I worked with the company, the more I got involved. And it became very important for me to like the product, because it becomes a contradiction that splits yourself too much if you would despise something that you represent, and you represent in such a massive way in 150 countries.
You could even break a contract. I don't mean with Lancôme, with anybody. You could break a contract if you had to divide yourself in two.
But I think you go crazy. You become schizo. I said, I explained to my executive, I said, when every person I meet, every interview I give, they always ask me about Lancôme. It becomes little by little like a police interrogation. And I would confess. So it's absolutely important that I like the perfume. And so actually in my contract that was discussed for a long, long time, I've made it that it was absolutely essential that I liked and I approved not only of the contract but of the packaging, of the campaign and everything, just because I represented, and it would be an easier job for me to represent something that I truly believe and I'm after. Well, I was terribly lucky because we came down to 3 fragrances that we had to choose. And
only 3?
3.
You were truly lucky.
Many, and we came down to 3. And Lancôme said, well, these 3, we're going to do a marketing research. You tell us which one you like, and then the executive are telling, each one of the people. And then we'll do a market research, and then we will see. And I chose one, and since I'm superstitious, and maybe a pessimist, I said, this is the one I like, and I know it's going to be the other one is going to be chosen. And I've used that one for the 2 months that we're doing the marketing research, saying, this is going to be the only 2 months that I have a chance to wear my favorite, because then I would have to switch to my second best.
And
instead, they chose the one that I really like, because even on the market research, that became the favorite from the market research. So now my consciousness is completely at peace.
Let me ask you something. You began around your 20s.
Yes.
Like a journalist,
Yes.
more or less. You've stayed in New York and you worked there at the beginning a little bit like an amateur, more
Yes,
or less, and then you turned out to work for Rai Television, the Italian television.
Right,
You started
and-
interpreting things of what I read, and then all of a sudden you started working as a professional journalist.
Yes.
Then you left it for something else. We'll talk about it. What was that, attracted you in journalism, and what really made you leave it?
Really? Well, what happened, it was that I started it because I speak languages, like you. So when I went to school, to college in America. I was looking for a job, to have some money to go
Girls'
out.
school?
Yes, they sent me to a girls' school. I had an Italian father who was too jealous to send me to a mixed school, so I went to a Finch college. It was only for girls. And then I looked for a job because everybody in America works to get their own, extra little money. And so I worked with languages because that was the only skills that I had. And that was the first contact that I had with Rai. They've asked me to be a translator for the different journalists that came and translate interviews or translate meetings. And I became the assistant of one journalist who did mostly sports. And I've worked with him, little by little I became his first assistant.
In
And
sports?
In sports.
I
did a lot
wouldn't
of-
believe it in my life. If anybody told me, I wouldn't believe it. And it's the first time I hear it. I didn't know
Me
it.
neither. And became actually a specialist of boxing. I mean, it's a very strange thing, but it was at the time of Muhammad Ali big fights. So I traveled and I toured with Muhammad Ali when he did, when he was preparing at his camp and all that. I was the journalist that was sent there permanently to be there to cover it every day. And then the big journalist would come and do the big interview with Muhammad Ali. But I would be on camp every day to collect interviews. And that's when I found my technique of journalism. I wasn't allowed to interview Muhammad Ali, though Muhammad Ali and I talked all the time, and he was very friendly.
You were not going to do the job.
I wasn't going to do the job, but I was asked by my journalist, whose name was Gianni Mina, my boss, I was asked to do colorful thing around him. So I started to interview Fan and the mother recipe, when she was cooking for him. And these little bits of thing became very popular, and they were always shown in the big serious interview. They were shown my side interview that was kind of fun.
Sometimes in German this is more interesting than the main interview.
And then I was hired to do a program with comedians. They were completely comic people, but I'm not a stand-up comedian, to do the same kind of interviews and same kind of thing about New York. So I stayed in New York, and we did the program for 4 years, and it was a tremendous success. And then the program was called off, and I was, I had to be a journalist. I mean, I wasn't really a journalist, a serious journalist. I had my technique that was more colorful journalism.
This is serious journalism, Iζαμπέλα.
Yes, it is serious, but it was a colorful thing rather than...
I know.
Yes. And it was very hard to find another place to work.
Why was the program off?
The program that I did, the program was comedians. There were a lot of comedians.
Yeah, but why did they stop it if it was so successful? And all
because the man who is in charge of it, who's called Renzo Arbore, has this technique. The moment the thing reaches success, that's the more is Neapolitan, and so also terribly superstition. He thinks that once you reach the top of your success, that's the moment you should leave, because then you will be able to choose what you're going to do next. Instead, if you stay into a thing too long until it drops, then it will be very hard for you to find the next program. Actually, a technique that works.
Yes, a technique that works, and an advice that could be taken very seriously.
Yes. But you need a lot of courage to do that. Yes.
So you had to try and find another job or be a journalist?
A journalist. And I became a straight journalist for about 2 years, and I didn't like it. Partially it was due to the fact that, my parents and all that, they were always interviewed and they always complained. And I felt in the position of the enemy, of asking interviews questions, because the serious journalism was, so to speak, serious. They were expecting me to do a profound interview and a portrait of a person, and I would meet them for half an hour.
Be aggressive. Be bad to them.
Right.
Try to take things out of them. Tear them apart sometimes.
Yes.
It's the Luella Parsons style.
Yes, and I just couldn't do it, and it's a very strong tradition in journalism.
Especially in the States.
Yes, especially in the States, yes. And
gossip journalism, it's something that they really like it.
Yeah, it's terrible. So I suffered very much, and I was asked to do some photos for photographers, just because I knew them socially, and I did. Mm-hmm. And within 4 months, I got the cover of Vogue. And then I kept on working at Italian television, and my friend, her name was Frances Grill, she had an agency. First she represented photographer, now she represents model. She said to me, if you have the cover of American Vogue, you have a career as a model. You don't have to work as a journalist anymore. You'll make more money, and you'll be very happy. And I said, no. First of all, I was 28 years old. I said, the moment they find out how old I am, I'm going to be kicked out.
You thought that it's the same impression here in Greece, and I would like to stay a little bit on that. 28 years old, you think it's too old to become a model? Because there is a myth about, that you have to be a youngster, you have to be something around 17, 18 or 19 the most. But I've seen successful models that are long past over the 25 and over the 30s.
It's hard to start a career at 28 as a model. That is unusual. There are some models that are 28, not very many. Generally, they're very established model, so that they stay, until, they want, or until they get too old, or, mostly until they are. Most of the time I found out that it's the model that leaves the job, rather than the job leaves them.
You didn't believe in yourself when you were 28 that you could start a second career? They had to convince you, for that?
Yes, well, not modeling. First of all, I came from I always thought that model was a stupid job. It isn't. Now that I've done it,
I know.
I realize that it isn't, and it's fascinating, it is fun, and it's one of the most fun work.
And it's hard?
It's hard work, it's very disciplined, but it's very fun, and the people are wonderful. I always said it is the industry of frivolity, and it has that...
Frivolity and pleasure.
And pleasure, and it has that spirit of frivolity. and fun and playfulness, and none of the things that we do are serious. The only serious part is that you make business, and so you create work for people. But that's the only serious part. The rest is all very silly and playful.
So the first, what we say, serious, good money you made, you had to become a model to make it.
Yes,
to make it.
Yes, because I had an Italian salary from RAI, which was the state television and state.
Yeah, but it's still a salary.
Yes, it's a salary, but state salaries are not very good.
Yeah, I know. But after Vogue, there's a big path that opens for you.
Yes.
How did you end up in cinema? You know why I say
Yes.
end up? Because usually, at least young people, they either start with the cinema, they don't have an extremely good career or a successful
Yes.
career, and then they find their way in television where things are not that easier, but the chances are many.
Many, yes.
Especially in the States, you have lots of
Lots
stations.
of stations,
I
yes.
mean, you need people, you need working hands and
Yes.
working faces.
Yes.
So it's easier for them. But to go the way around like you did,
Yes.
that means starting with television,
Mm-hmm.
which has color and voice and face and image and music and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then go to modeling, which is silent and it has nothing to do with sound.
Yes, it's true.
And then pass on successfully, as you did, to the movies.
Well, what happened, it was the first time I did a film, the Taviani brother, Paolo and Vittorio Taviani, saw me on television doing my television comic thing, and they asked me to act in one of their films, and I was very intimidated. At the time, my father did not want me to become an actress, and my father had a tremendous influence on my life, and I think rightly so he didn't want. I mean, now it works out fine, but there are too many dangers, and he was afraid I was going to be frustrated. So he'd always encouraged me to study, to do a serious job that required skills that you can apply, because so much of acting, it requires skills, but it's so much luck. Do you have the luck to be hired for the part? You know, so much is up in the stars that he wanted me to do a work. He encouraged me to be a journalist, because a journalist, it's a faith that you can control somewhat better.
Yes, and luck plays a role, but it's a small role.
Yes, a smaller role than acting. And so I think that's why he was against it. And also I was intimidated because my family was so established in films, and I was afraid, especially when you're a teenager, you know, you want to do, partly you're a rebel, so you want to do things that your family... Contrary to your family. And also I think I was terribly intimidated. I mean, even if I lived it as I'm going to be a rebel, the truth it was that I was afraid to be an actress. And so I did all other things. But this acting thing always stayed in my mind as a very strong curiosity. And I think and I did the film with the Taviani, but in the tradition of Italian film, of neorealism, of amateur actor doing just one film, and I loved doing it. So it stayed even more in my mind then. And I think only the modeling and the success in modeling gave me enough strength, psychologically, to move into acting. I was ready. I said, if I fail at acting, I know that I haven't failed as a person, because I have succeeded in other things. I've succeeded as a journalist. I've succeeded as model. I'll try acting. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
That means that part of your younger fears were surpassed because you had a successful career. But then it gives me the impression that if I try as a journalist to translate this kind of fear, if you come out of a famous and established family in the industry of movie making,
Yes.
of filmmaking. That means that part of your fears was not only to understand acting, but not to grab all your dreams and all your life and all your psychology out on acting.
Yes.
Because this, if it didn't succeed, it would, break your heart, and not only.
Yes, that I think that I was wise. I guess I was wise at doing it the way I did it. No, it wasn't planned. But I think that once you are successful in one domain, he strengthens you psychologically, so that if another domain doesn't work, well, it's going to break your heart, but you're not going to feel completely discouraged. And I think that if I had been an actress at 20 and I wasn't going to make it, it was going to be very difficult for me to have enough confidence to try in any other career.
You would feel self-defeated so much, and in a very sensitive age.
Yes.
And then after the Taviani, another film came.
But many years after, see, I did the Taviani, then I worked on television, and then I went on and worked as a model. And it really was the success of modeling that gave me, I got pregnant. And I said, this is a very good moment, because I wasn't going to work much as a model, because I had a very big belly and I didn't fit in the clothes. And I said, this is a very good moment for me to go to school and do acting school. So I went to the actor's studio, and because pregnant, but it was the most perfect moment because I wasn't photographed that much, because you photographed every day if you're a top model. You know, you work from 8 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night. I never had any time. So fat like that, I had time, and I went 9 months to school, or a little less, because 6 months to school, just to see if I could do it for myself. See, I didn't want to start working on a film right away. I wanted to go to school and really did it from the base and work out, solidify myself like that. And then I was asked, my daughter was not even a year old when I was asked to do White Nights with Baryshnikov and Gregory Hines. And so that was my first film as a professional actress, you know, that I did it in terms of
graduated to a school or something like that.
And also that in my mind, it wasn't something that I was doing in the neorealistic tradition of, well, I'll do this part, you know, the director will tell me what to do. Yes.
Give me just a few seconds, because we have to have, κυρίες και κύριοι, ένα μικρό αναγκαστικό διάλειμμα και ένα πέρασμα στη δική μας τη γλώσσα. Ελπίζω οι υπότιτλοι να σας είναι αρκετοί, αλλά δεν θα μπορούσα να σας στερήσω τη φωνή της Ιζαμπέλα Ροσελίνι, και θα είμαστε μαζί και πάλι σε λίγο. Κυρίες και κύριοι, ψηλά τα χέρια, δεύτερο μέρος. Η ευτυχία της σημερινής εκπομπής είναι να φιλοξενεί, κατά τα πρότυπα, αν θέλετε, της παραδοσιακής ελληνικής μας φιλοξενίας, ένα όμορφο αλλά και μεγάλο όνομα του διεθνούς στερεώματος, όχι μόνο του κινηματογράφου, αλλά και της τηλεόρασης και αυτού που εμείς συνηθίζουμε να λέμε μανεκέν, αλλά δεν θα ήταν η κατάλληλη λέξη και ο κατάλληλος χαρακτηρισμός για την κόρη της Ingrid Bergman και του Roberto Ροσελίνι, την Ιζαμπέλα Ροσελίνι, που είναι εδώ σήμερα μαζί μας στο Mega Channel. Ιζαμπέλα, just before this obligatory interval, we were talking about you going to school, being pregnant, going to the actor's studio, and then having your first film, The White Nights, with Baryshnikov, as a professional actress.
Right.
And you succeeded in something else that's quite amazing. You have your own career. My personal opinion is that you don't look that much like your mother. They say you look like your mother. Maybe you have something of the air of the family, as we call it, and we say it, but I don't think. You have a totally personal style and personality of your own. But something that's amazing, your mother and father, back in the 50s, they had tremendous problems with their lifestyle, the journalists, the scandals, their puritanistic or neo-puritanistic Hollywood and all these things. You happen to live in a more modern, society.
Yes.
You didn't have problems, but although you got married twice, you have a child without a marriage. It's something you chose to do on your own. You have a career of your own, and you're not lonesome. You don't.
Sometimes I am.
But you don't look like. No, you don't look like one. You look like a very not happy, because happiness is something that comes and goes. But you have your inner stability.
Yes, I think I'm stable. Yes, I think I'm a stable person. I don't know why, I think it's nature. I think it's, you're born with a stable character or unstable life also. I was lucky, I think I was lucky. It's true that I had 2 divorces and they're terrible and they're very painful. But I have a daughter who's a wonderful, healthy, intelligent, and that's a very stabilizing factor.
How old is she now?
She's 7.
And her name is?
Elettra.
Electra?
Yes, it's a very Greek name, actually.
It's a very Greek name, and it's the name of a Greek tragedy.
Right, exactly. But it was my grandmother's name from my father's side, and it was the only grandmother that I've known. All the others were dead by the time I was born, and so I called her after my grandmother.
It's a very nice name. Not because it's Greek. It's a very nice name by itself. And it's amazing. You live in the States. You have turned American more or less.
Yes.
Living in New York for about how many? 20
Almost
years?
20 years, yes.
Almost 20 years.
20 years.
And you have a daughter that has a Greek name out of the Italian origin of your father's side. I mean, it's a crazy thing, but It's quite international, like your career, I think. You have a good relation with your daughter, but were you taught out of any possible mistakes that your parents did in the show business? And when I say mistakes, I don't speak about artistic mistakes. I mean about handling the publicity, because it's a very painful and difficult thing, with the publicity.
Sometimes I wonder, I don't know. Both my parents have been dead for many years. My father 13 years, my mother 8. And so much of my career happened, at least a very successful career that, the media are interested in you, and that happened in the last 10 years or even less. So I didn't have their advice all the time. Sometimes I wonder, especially when I work with other people that become very successful, that they go through moments of very big trauma or instability. And I, as you said before, I seem to be so calm.
Yes.
I wonder if that it isn't inherited from the family, so that my life, I'm used to a certain circus around it, so that if it happens once again, you sail through quite smoothly. Maybe, I'm sure that the influence of my parents are enormous in my life, but it's always been very difficult for me to point out exactly what, because I think it's too great influence.
Maybe maybe that's why you are, you have your own stability, because it's a general impact, and you probably got out the best of it.
Yes, I'm sure but they were very good people, so I think that it was easy to get the best out of them. They were very moral and sure and solid. They weren't eccentric artists, They weren't eccentric, crazy.
No, and they didn't do the extravagances of the kind in the show business, which is, helps this kind of lifestyle. Let me ask you something. You had personal relations and marriages with directors, men directors.
Yes.
That obliges me to ask, is there anything not more attractive, but anything special in any kind of a relation with a director?
But I have to ask myself the same question. I can't believe it myself, that I have so many directors. Once I had a little affair with an actor, and I was very pleased. I said, this is good. It's not a director, it's an actor. One day he said, what my dream is? To become a director. And next thing he's going to do is direct a film. I just don't believe it, I don't know what it is. I agree. I mean, there must be some kind of psychological something,
No. I don't look. I'm not the American type that seeks always psychoanalytic explanations for things. No, I hate this.
It is true.
It's a coincidence, more or less.
It's a coincidence. I think that there is something about the directors that makes them very appealing. Is that they are the leaders. They are people that initiate things.
Yes.
They have to have. And so probably I like that type of man. And working in the business. Chances are, and I like the artistic, I like people that are a little eccentric.
Yes.
And so that's why I think I don't fall in love with producers, because they're more business-like. So I think that's it. But it's strange because of my father being a director, and the most important men that I had in my life are directors, that one thinks, maybe there is something.
No. This could be an easy explanation for a personality of your kind. I would rather say it's more or less a coincidence, or the lifestyle you have, you go around with people like that. So it's your surroundings, it's your place. You see people like that, you talk to them. So love, when it comes, doesn't pick out, people according to their profession.
Right. And it's true that I meet not too many biologists, not too many, I always, I meet directors, I meet
probably
writers.
If you were working as an assistant professor in the university, you could get in love with a professor. Then what would we seek? An explanation of if he looks like your father and you look like a doctor. No, let's not look that way. But is there anything special in these men, the directors, apart from personal relations? To my mind, I think what you said, that they work as chef d'orchestre.
Yes.
Okay, they are coordinating things, they have the initiatives and everything. But I'll give you, in a very few words, the image you have as I've seen it in the Greek media. I mean, in newspapers, in critics, in analysis about your films and everything. So I think even the Greek audience, or maybe the international, I don't know, they see you as a fragile personality. Maybe out of your films, you look fragile. You have a very gentle figure, so you look fragile, but deep inside you're strong. You're stable, but you're ready to crack for sentimental reasons. So that's more or less, with a few words, I have to simplify my English for this interview, so for the audience, I mean. So you turn out to be a fragile woman. So in our mind, a fragile woman, at least image-wise, and a director with an impact, makes a very attractive combination. I give you an explanation.
Yes, maybe that is the explanation. I don't know. It's so difficult to talk about my husband or lover as directors, because I see them as individual. I see Marty, I see David, I see John. I don't see them as...
Let me ask you something else. At the beginning of this conversation, of this interview, you said that you would never try to help a perfume and present it if you didn't believe in it and if you didn't like it. Do you do exactly the same thing, picking up your roles?
Yes, absolutely. Because I don't think you can. How can you interpret a film? How can you work on a film that you despise or you don't like or you don't understand? How can you interpret a person if you don't have an emotion for that person? I think it's absolute. I don't know how to do it without my feelings being involved.
What about despising part of the role or part of the personality? I mean, yesterday night before the interview, I had to, refresh my memory a little bit. So I saw the White Nights again on the video, and I saw the Blue Velvet. Blue Velvet is very famous here. I mean, really? People really liked it. There are two completely different roles, although they're not very big and first roles, okay? But they're completely different.
Don't stop. She's a Soviet citizen. Warning you, Rodchenko. Сядь ее!
No! No!
Ой, no.
Отпустите! No!
Сядь ее!
Отпустите!
Куда? Все задержи. Держи.
You record that. Look at that foot. And record that. There he is!
Are you sure? The last thing you need now, Chaika. It's evidence of Soviet repression.
There's your proof.
Release her with me. I'll shut up about everything. That's right. Что вы делаете? Отпусти ее.
Make sure the videotape is rolling.
She's just a little overexcited. That's right. Here he is. Don't forget I still have a husband.
You should have checked for how well you treat him.
Very well.
Now wait.
It's all being recorded.
Do you like the way I feel?
Yes.
Feel me. Hit me.
Do it. No. Stop it.
Hit me. Hit me. Hit me.
Well, part of the fun to be an actress is to do things that are very different. I mean that it's to drive yourself into another personality. Well, Blue Velvet. See, I was very moved by the character of Dorothy Valance. For me, it was a battered woman who found, her personality became so twisted out of being raped and having the child kidnapped and her husband and the drugs around her, that she became corrupt. And that I think she was so mentally confused. The things in her mind were so frightening, the images, because she was so afraid, that she became a sadomasochist. She wanted to be hit so that the physical pain would interrupt the images in her mind. And that was when I read the script, that was my intuition about this character. And that created a lot of scandal. But to me, it was a very moving person. And when I read it, I wanted so much to interpret her because I was so touched by Dorothy. I've never met a person like that, but by intuition, by intuition, I said, this is something that exists. See, I myself always looked at sadomasochism as something down. But when I read the script, it gave me an insight to it. And I don't know if sadomasochists are like that or not, but my interpretation of Dorothy, it was somebody who had a brain who was frightening images. She had to interrupt, and the only way to interrupt it by physical pain, so that the physical pain will take away.
Helps you go on with your mind and not turning insane.
Yes.
Are you taught out of your roles? Do you take lessons, life lessons? I mean, not acting lessons.
Life lessons,
life
absolutely.
Lessons, like
life
the chance
lessons.
of meeting somebody that you probably will never meet in your life.
Yes.
And I wish you not meet persons like that because they are painful for relations.
Yes. But yes, I do. I think that life experience help every way, your work. Even if you model and you just have to be beautiful. I think that when we were talking during the interruption, but I think that even when you are a model and apparently you only are supposed to be beautiful, I don't think that's it. I think what makes it is the emotion that comes through.
Permit me to add the word. There is communication even in beauty.
Yes.
It's what simple people watching things, watching faces, they say this is a warm face and a beautiful one, or this is a cold face and a beautiful one. This sense of warm and cold has to do with communication.
Yes.
And it's something that has to do with attraction and intuition and all the other things. But if somebody hasn't lived a life and hasn't thought about how things go on and coping with self-problems and all these things, you have what we say an empty eye.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it can be a beautiful eye, you can have it photographed, but it will never be attractive because there is nothing to read in it.
Yes, I agree. Though I don't, I think I live a full life for two reasons. One is that life takes you. Some of the things I'd like to avoid, but it just happened. And I thought so. I think I like life, so I throw myself in it. I mean, I don't live my life fully to be photographed well or to interpret a role well. Yeah. But I think the two things work together. I don't think that
you don't have reservations anyhow with life.
No.
But having passed all these careers and coping with all three of them for as long as you wanted it, would you easily say, I wouldn't do this and that, and I would better be, specialized in one thing, do only modeling or only acting? I can't imagine this for you.
Yes, no, I don't. Actually, no, I don't think so. Now I'm interested in a whole different thing.
What is this?
Animal behavior. It's a completely different field.
So this is a coincidence, but I'm very lucky because I like animals so much.
You do too, really?
Yes, I have 16 cats, and I've been watching them, and I can bet my head that every cat has a personality and has a different behavior, and there must be some kind of intelligence and a language that we don't understand. But
yes,
how did this come into your life? Because I have 16 cats, and I know how it happened to me. It began as a birthday present.
Well, I always liked animals, and I always grew up with animals around me. Mm. And when I was a teenager, my father gave me a book by Conrad Lawrence called The Ring of King Solomon. And I read the book, and I was very impressed. And Conrad Lawrence was really the man who founded this new science of studying the animal psychology and their behavior. And I've always wanted to do that, but I didn't know how to. See, when I was in Italy, there wasn't any school, and I was a very bad student at school, so I figured that I couldn't really study, because the only way to get to it was through biology. But anyway, it didn't even exist, because it's such a new discipline that the schools, the university are not organized. And only recently, I've decided, and so I go back to school. But it isn't, I mean, I'm kind of ashamed to talk about it, because it isn't.
No.
But I go to school when I have time. I go to school. I always take courses on biology and psychology and on animal behavior, and I do field studies. Sometimes we leave with a whole, group of 10 people, and we are in the fields to look at animals and report. And that is a job that I think that when I'm old and ugly, and I wouldn't be working for Lancôme or as an actress, I think I'll go in the wild, in some desert or some forest, and just when you study that.
You would like to study wild animals, the ones that have the independence and the
I think that the wild
lack of need of people around them.
Well, obviously the pets are fantastic, because they relate to you. But I think there is an intelligence about animal that it would be very nice to see in their natural environment. I mean,
do you by any chance have a favorite animal?
Dogs. I have lots of, but the only animal that I know well are dog, cat, those are the dogs those are the pets that I have home. And dogs are my favorite. I have a cat too, and I like him a lot, but dogs are...
No, I mean between a cat and a tiger. Would you rather have a tiger?
Well, I'd rather have the tiger.
Yeah. And when I say have, I mean to be able to communicate with a tiger.
Yes. Yes.
And now give me an explanation why all the people all over the world try to give to women, especially when they're famous or when they're sexy or when they're, they concern the media, they attract the media. Why do they give them animal names? It's something that happens with women. It doesn't happen that much with men. They only call them lions or maybe bulls, and that's the end of a story with men. But for women, they always try to find an animal name.
Really?
Mostly as a compliment.
Really? What? I don't know what animal name I have.
They say she dances like this.
Oh, yes,
she sings like that. She is caressing like that. She's sexy like a cat, and all these things. Why? Do you think women are closer to understanding animals' behavior? They're more sensitive, or what?
I don't know. I don't know really. But there is I think men sometimes they see us as mystery. And animals also are mysterious, the way, they move. You could see there is an intelligence, and yet you're not quite sure, is there an intelligence or not? Or do the movement that they do are so strange? So I wonder if it's, I don't know if I wonder, but I'm just making it up now because I have never thought about the problem. But I wonder if it has linked to that.
That's a good explanation. I mean, that's one that helps me. Yeah. Yes, it's the mystery maybe.
It's the mystery.
Yes, but you said for men, women, we could be a mystery, or we are a mystery. Are men a mystery to us?
Yes, they are.
To you?
They are.
We just didn't create the same kind of myth. What is it you don't understand about men?
Their way, their affectionate needs, their affectionate needs are different. And I always wondered why, I think in a woman they are much more, maybe they are deeper and greater, and men, they don't seem to have that need
for affection. Or if they have it, it's something that you can't translate it all the time.
Yes.
You give this, it's considered an affection, and then you give something else, and it's considered hostility, and you don't understand why. Why the difference? But you have a daughter.
Yes.
If you had a son, would you try to understand him or translate him?
Yes, I was. I'm very glad to have a daughter. I wanted always a daughter, and I was wondering if having a son, it might be a complete different thing. Quite interesting, isn't it? Because my life is such a woman's life. I live with myself, and I have two sisters that live. We are 7 children, brothers and well, they're not children anymore, but we are 7 offsprings of my family. But we are boys and girls. But 2 sisters live in New York with me, and so it's the 3 of us. And then I have a babysitter for my daughter, and my daughter is a daughter, and I live alone. I don't have a man at home. So it's a very women life, the life that I...
Would be very interesting to have a son.
It would be interesting to have a son.
I don't advise for another husband, just wait a little. And no, this was maybe a bad joke. But as we come to the end of this interview, are you happy?
Some days I am, and some days I'm not. I can't really, I started to think that maybe happiness, like that doesn't exist.
Doesn't.
But if I step back and look at my life and look at what I've had, the bad and the good, it seems very passionate. And I think that is happiness,
It is.
I'm very sad that my parents died. I was very sad when they died. I'm still sad that they're not around me, that my daughter doesn't know them. And yet, if I step back of that emotion and see who my parents were, such exceptional people, they gave me so much, but that's happiness, even though I'm sad that they died.
Yes. That means you are at least satisfied that you had a life.
Yes.
And you're still having a life. And you plan a new life, and you have still the courage to go back to school and study if necessary for the things you like, because I think you have something that's maybe the secret of your strength. You always try and manage to do things you like. And this is not only luck.
Yes, no.
This is happiness also.
Yes, I think there is happiness in fulfilling your curiosity, in just yes, I think I find consolation in that. Every time I am upset or sad, I find an enthusiasm, a regenerated enthusiasm if a big curiosity that I had is getting satisfied.
And it's character-grabbing chances in life. They come, but sometimes they pass and you don't grab them.
Yes.
But you had the experience of a father that try to make you avoid being an actress.
Yes.
Would you try to make your daughter avoid this or that?
No, I don't
Believing
think so.
that she could rebel and finally do what she wants, or you would try to, create to her an environment and all the needs to do what she wants to
Well,
do.
Yes, I think that I would do that. I think that my father might have been against me being an actress, but because I was so young, he
Yes.
died, I was 22, he wanted me to finish school and all that. But I think that this idea that happiness is to live your life as much as you can, if you
Spend it if
spend
necessary.
it well, yes.
Yes.
That my family taught me. And even if my father was against me acting, maybe, I think he would have been very happy that I have done
Yes.
the life that I have. And I hope to give my daughter that, whether she wants to be an actress or a model or anything she wants to do, as long as she would do it with passion and intensively. And if it doesn't work, you'll do something else. Life is full of things, it doesn't have to be one thing. And if that doesn't work, there's so many other things, they're all there and available for us to just join them. It's a big gift.
Iζαμπέλα, you're an example of a personality full of life. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you, Liana, for
Thank you
having me.
very much for accepting this invitation. And I hope to see you back in this beautiful country, which is Greece. During the summer, you visit the islands and
yes.
you have more time to spend here.
Yes, I'd love to do
Have a
that.
nice stay here, although it's short, and have a nice adventure going all over the world to more than 120 countries.
Thank you.
And good luck for your next dreams, whatever they are.
Thank you.
Κυρίες και κύριοι, εδώ τελείωσε η εκπομπή μας. Καλή σας νύχτα.